13 Scary Stories. Written by John McDonnell. Narrated by Larry Gorman. Night work. Sarah woke up screaming. She sat up in the bed, gasping for air, her heart pounding in her chest, sweat bursting out of her pores. It took minutes to calm down, but echoes of the dream reverberated in her head. It was the same as before. Something was trying to strangle her. It was a dark shape close to her face. So close, she could feel its heat, smell its rank breath. There were yellow eyes staring at her as the claws tightened around her neck. She got up and stumbled into the bathroom, flicked on the light, and looked at herself in the mirror. In the harsh light, she looked carefully at her neck for any marks. There was nothing. She ran the water in the sink and splashed some on her face, then grabbed her bathrobe from the hook on the door and put it on. She found her slippers under the bed and went downstairs, making her way by the light of the moon that streamed through the windows. In the kitchen, she went to the refrigerator and took out a bottle of milk, then poured a glassful and drank it in one gulp. She wished Lou was here. He would know how to comfort her. But he was out. He worked nights as an EMT, and every time she heard a siren in the night, she thought of him working in the back of an ambulance, biting his lip the way he did when he was nervous. Nights were bad for him. He often came back exhausted, drained from the things he'd seen. He wasn't cut out for this, she often thought. He was pushing himself too hard, working nights and going to med school in the daytime. She sat down at the kitchen table and paged through a women's magazine, but her mind couldn't focus. All the stories were about sex, how to get a better orgasm, how to drive your man wild, how to get rid of your inhibitions. Didn't they think women had anything else on their mind besides sex? With Lou's schedule, sex was an impossibility anyway. He got home just as she was leaving for work in the morning, and when she came home at night, he was busy studying or writing assignments. The sex the women's magazines talked about? That was a distant memory. Lou was studying to be an emergency surgeon, like his father. "It's the family trade," he'd say. "We're all adrenaline junkies. We need that high." It was dangerous work, and she worried that something bad was going to happen. Like a few weeks ago, when he'd gotten bitten. An old woman, alone in a house out on the prairie, had called 911. She was crazy, Lou said, when he got home from work. She kept a lot of animals in the house. Cats, dogs. They all looked half wild. She was actually foaming at the mouth, and we had to subdue her. You wouldn't believe how strong she was. She bit me, and it hurt. They gave him some shots at the hospital, but he still developed a nasty red rash around the bite and ran a temperature for a few days. After that, he'd been moody, distant, given to sudden flare-ups. Suddenly, he'd want to make love all the time, although love wasn't a good word for what he wanted. Then he lost interest. It was all confusing, and sometimes the look in his eyes told her he didn't know what was happening. The clock on the kitchen wall said 4. She could see the moon through the skylight in the kitchen. It was almost directly overhead. She felt flush, feverish. Her head was pounding. She had so many strange feelings these days, so many weird dreams. "What's happening to me?" she said out loud. She gripped the table and put her head down. Then there was a sound, a muffled sound out back. She pricked her ears and listened, and heard it again. It was like something was being dragged across the backyard. She went to the door and looked out.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?